This is Dave Meltzer with Entrepreneurs, the Playbook, and I have Dr. Eric George, world-famous doctor, but also a medical entrepreneur. And I wanted to have him on here for one reason. That's because he's an entrepreneur and he owns hotels in New Orleans, and I love New Orleans. No, that's not why I'm having him on here. He's truly an entrepreneur, and you teach at Tulane Med School, first of all, so I saw that, and I'm like, okay, I already automatically love this guy. He's from Louisiana and New Orleans, so you know he has a big heart. Your career is different than most doctors. Most doctors don't have the personality or energy that you have. I was telling you, I roomed with doctors, extraordinary academics normally. My brother was a doctor, and he told me one great piece of advice. He said, David, if you're going to go to college, don't be well-trained. He felt as if he was a well-trained person, but not well-educated. Looking at your journey, you are well-trained at your expertise, but you also are well-educated, and somehow a big personality got fit in there. I'm going to talk a little bit about that personality because it's rare for someone to be such an expert and to have such a big personality. Where did the charisma, the charm, the energy come from?
Well, you're, first of all, very complimentary. Thank you, my
true,
friend.
Though. Just look at this guy.
Well,
he's beaming.
You're very kind. You know, I started off in the medical world, and I think what excited me is I really like people, kind of like you do.
Yeah,
I mean, I really enjoyed being with people. I learned a lot from patients, early on. And I realized, particularly in the hand surgery, everybody's different, so everybody does something different with their hands. The jackhammer operator does something different than the surgeon, or in your world, the athlete that can catch the balls.
Sports agent. No
Sports
kidding.
agent.
Sorry, I'm giving all my secrets away.
So I think what it did for me is it allowed me to make that connection with the people. And I realized, early on in my career that getting to know those people is what really moves you into other avenues in business. And I had some great experiences. And like you said, that the city of New Orleans is an exciting place. It's fun. I was there during the post-Katrina era, which gave us some opportunity to really rebuild. So we just love it there.
And so, understanding, I would say people buy on emotion for logical reasons. And a great doctor like yourself not only can perform and heal, but most importantly, make somebody feel good. And not many doctors do that nowadays because of the amount of pressure they're under, insurance, as well as just like a football player, as we coach them as they get out of playing, it's like all they've done is played football for so long, it's hard to get them to be successful in entrepreneurship. I see the same thing with doctors and lawyers. We're really well trained, but very few understand the business side of things, which is a people business.
It is a people business, and I totally agree with you. And I think that what I learned from the leadership side is very much what I learned in the medical side, and that is that we're mutually beneficial. In other words, if you're injured, we're both in the human business, leadership and healthcare. And I think that what you're trying to accomplish, if you believe in the we mindset, is that we as people together need to heal together. In other words, it's the we mindset. I mean, I can put your hand together, but you have to participate in your health care. You have to do therapy. You have to work. It takes a whole team of people. So what came enlightening to me was leadership is the same way, that it's mutually beneficial. It's the we mindset. We work together, and if you empower that as a leader and say, hey, it's a we mentality, takes a group of us to do these things, it's the same.
One of the other interesting things is just the idea of abundance, and people get confused because of money, right? I always say that money is an object of energy that we put into the flow, and I grew up the first half of my life believing that money bought happiness and love. I really did. I was driven to buy my mom a house and a car, and all the conditioning in my life was every time I had more money, I was more happy, and other people were happy around me when I gave them money. But I went through a transformation and was blessed to have lost all my money and regained it in a different perspective. And I see doctors that are entrepreneurs struggle with a conflict about, most of the time people become doctors to help people, and they almost feel not worthy or guilty when they start making money. And then if they move into entrepreneurship and try to accelerate the amount of wealth that they have, which is usually still to help people. My whole life changed when I made that motto: make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun. And I see doctor entrepreneurs are here to make a lot of money to help people. In fact, I put this painting up, right? Money doesn't buy happiness, just to remind everybody. It doesn't buy happiness, but it allows you to shop. And if you shop for the right things, it's going to make you happy, like both of us do work in Kenya.
Absolutely.
And we spend a lot of money helping people, but we wouldn't be able to help all those people in Kenya, both of us.
That's exactly
if we didn't have
do
money
this first.
Right, exactly. How do you reconcile, that kind of Hippocratic oath, humanitarian philanthropist with you're a true entrepreneur. You like to make money and you're good at it.
Well, I thank you very much. I got to tell you, I think if what I tried to do was incorporate those patients, bring them along with me. So in other words, if I see a patient who's involved in oil and gas, or if we have a patient that's in hospitality, and we make that connection, and then as we go through an injury, or if I meet them indirectly, then instead of saying it's all about me, well, I'm going to build this hotel or I'm going to do this project, we say let's have a purpose and let's make a partnership, because I'm in here seeing patients every day. And I think you really empower those people if you let them really be part of the we, let them run the show, because as your brother or as an attorney, as a doctor, there's not enough time in the day for you to be micromanaging these people. What I found, Dave, is that if you really give them that we mentality, you say, listen, take charge, they get invested in it. They really believe in it. And you're not one of these me CEOs. I have to do it.
Model. You're an abundant guy.
I have to make the call.
Yeah.
I have to be the only one that can do this. They make some mistakes along the way, but man, they don't want to fail if they really feel like it's part of it. So I think what it's done for me is, instead of being the doctor that's angry or the doctor that's fighting the system, we say, let's work together. That's what worked for me, and you know that.
Yeah, and you have that we abundant mentality. Was there someone in your life, I believe in mentorship, and you're a great mentor, and I try to be one as well at Tulane, especially with different programs that we participate in. Was there someone that mentored you that kind of shifted your perspective? I'm sure as a young med student, you didn't have this huge abundant mentality, this we mentality as you're struggling.
Well, you're right. And I mean, I have to tell you, when I started off in medicine, I didn't think of it in that way. And I think I hit a little bit of an epiphany just like you did. In other words, I fought and saw patients and worked nights and banged ERs and thought, wow, I'm just chasing my tail here. And then I had this opportunity with this hospital that came available in 2003. And what it was I realized I could do better for my patients if I could help control the narrative. I realized that hospitals have a lot of bureaucracy, and what was happening was I'd have all these patients that I wanted to treat. I couldn't get OR times, I couldn't get rooms, and this small little facility came available. Well, I decided I'm going to start this hospital. We'll bring in some docs, like the people that I thought I could work with, and it forced me into a leadership position. And I think what that did is I really learned some hard lessons about being a businessman and being the doctor. And along the way, I realized that it's not all about the money. It's all about what you can do. And I think my father, and I'm sure your mother the same way, told you early on, you got to do something. You got to give something back. That's why we became doctors, lawyers. You want to help people. And
in fact, I think this whole idea of why, and maybe you've heard me say this before, but I want to reiterate it because I think it's such BS. I think everybody knows their why. There's billions of dollars made on saying, I'm going to help you find your why. Look, your why is to help somebody with something or someone. Everybody's why is the same. It's that they're too afraid to figure out the what and the how. And that's really where primarily I'm looking. And when I'm listening to you, and I know you've made hundreds of millions of dollars like I have, the difference is you've kept yours. You didn't have to rebuild it like I did. But truthfully, the what and the how, and I am, right? In a much better way. I'm making room for it the way you do. I have this we mentality instead of a me mentality, right? The first time I made all that money was for me. And I thought I was the luckiest person in the world. And I gave tons of money away to make me feel good.
Got it.
Right? So I could get recognition. Now, I love the fact that most of the things I do, nobody knows about, right? And it's fine. And I do, though. I know about it.
You feel good about it.
Exactly.
That's
and
great.
It's for other people that it comes through me. But you are the what and the how person. In that transition, doctors, lawyers, engineers, professionals, football players. I know you brought a professional Ram with you, and they have difficulties, all of us, because it's beyond what we know, and then we have to have one word that's faith. It's trust.
Absolutely.
And one of the key components of successful people, and part of the reason that I had to learn the lessons through losing everything, was that to understand surrounding myself with the right people and the right ideas. Putting my faith in the right people to do these things. Right? We learn that we can't do it all, but
Absolutely.
a lot of the mistakes is with good intention. We put our faith in the wrong people, the wrong ideas, and the wrong things. Are there some tips or advice that you can give? Because you seem to have a really good guide on putting faith in the right things and the right people.
Well, I think it's what you said, Dave. I mean, really, it's picking the good people around you. I mean, we all make those mistakes, and I hate to be the interviewer, but
no, it's good.
My question to you is, when did you make? I mean, what woke you up? What made you realize that the me? I couldn't be the me CEO. I was too busy doing the other thing. But I know those me CEOs are the ones that fail because you don't build trust. So
that's such a good question, because 2 years before I lost everything is when I had that woke moment. And it was a progression, first by my father, who gave me a jacket with no pockets, and told me I was just like him. And I said, I'm nothing like you. You're a liar, manipulator, cheater, overseller, and back-end seller. And he said, hang the jacket in the closet. It's going to remind you you're just like me. It has no pockets in it. You're not going to be able to take anything when you're gone. I want you to remember this because you are lost right now. You're 30 years old. You're a multimillionaire, and I'm worried about you because I love you. I know you don't like me, but I love you, so I'm giving you this jacket.
Wow.
Then my best friend, years later, goes golfing with me. Since the 4th grade, he's been a friend, and he said, I go, why don't you hang out with me anymore, man? I own a golf course. We could play golf. I'm barely working. He said, Dave, I don't like who you hang out with. I said, okay. I'm not doing what those guys are doing. I'm not like those guys. He said, you could lie to me, but don't lie to yourself. I still get choked up because I cried my way home because I knew it was true.
There's a great friend.
Yeah, I knew it was true. I still know it's true. I had to fire those friends. 2 weeks later is when my real awakening happened, is when I was running Lee Steinberg, Sports and Entertainment, most notable sports agency in the world, and I came home 5:30 in the morning from the Grammy Awards after lying to my wife, drunk, high. Yep. Literally, she said to me, I'm not happy. And my initial reaction was I was pissed.
Sure.
Right? I was really pissed at her. I'm like, you don't appreciate, look what we live in. I got a Ferrari, a Porsche, this huge home. What are you talking about? You're not happy. I go to bed because she says, you better go to bed and take stock in who you are and what you want to become, or I'm leaving. Wow. And now, I married the best woman in the world. I know no matter what, I've outkicked my coverage. She has saved my life, and she is at a higher frequency than I can imagine. She's just beautiful inside and out. I've known her since the 4th grade. I threw an egg at her in the 6th grade.
Wow.
It took me a long time to convince her to marry me. But she, literally that next morning, I woke up thinking about what two-lane lawyer that I could call to get divorced, right?
Yes.
And then I looked at that closet, man. That was my woke moment.
Wow.
I looked at the closet, and there was that goddamn jacket my dad gave me. And I'm like,
pockets.
I'm just like my God. I'm just like my dad. He's right.
Right.
And that's when the forgiveness came. That's when I learned and said, who are you, Dave Meltzer? And I started thinking, I used to be so grateful I grew up with nothing. 6 kids, single mom, packing my lunch in a station wagon. And I was grateful. I was grateful.
Yeah.
And I had lost my gratitude. I had lost my forgiveness. I was so critical and offended and resentful for everybody. I thought I was superior. I lost my accountability. Everything in my life was everybody else's fault. Right? And then I lost my inspiration. I woke up empty, right? And I said to myself, this is it. I'm changing everything. And I was preparing for that transformation. And which leads me to my next question, is you're interviewing me on my own podcast, which makes it beautiful.
It's great.
But that's what it was. And for you, what was the lesson that has catapulted you? You haven't luckily had to go through what I went through, but everyone has struggled with challenges and lessons. Is there one lesson that holds true to you that gave you this we mentality, this abundant attitude?
I think that I learned early on with the Omega situation that I thought, hey, everybody's doing well, everybody's making all this money, everybody's going to be euphoric. I grew up in West Virginia, small town. You know, Dad made a little money, had 4 brothers, nothing like you. We were never on food stamps, but we collected coins to put the gas money. So I thought, wow, we're distributing millions of dollars to these doctors that were making nothing. And I think the lesson I learned is that I never dreamed that when people lose money, I knew they'd sue and be angry. When people are just breaking even or doing okay, they're not going to sue because you don't have money. But when you make a fortune, people sue. And I was like, how can you guys fight when we're all making a bucket of money? But what I learned is there's a lot of me people who are out there saying, hey, he made more than me and he made more than this. And I remember with the court systems down in Louisiana, one of the federal judges says, you guys have killed the golden goose. Wow. Because we had all these petty people making more than they've ever made in their life, fighting over more. And that's when I would say I woke up and I said, guys, this is crazy. Those people were all minority shareholders. We moved them out. You know how that game's played.
Of course.
But from that point forward, from a business perspective, I realized that I want people invested. I want people to be part of. I want us to be a we mentality, if you believe in that. And you and I have that same sense of empathy and gratitude towards people who have got us there. I mean, you know, Absolutely. What does they say? We stood on giant shoulders, and now it's our duty to help the young people that we're up there now. Let's give something back to help them. Yeah. You know, like the Brandon Cooks or somebody that knew that's along the way with me. So
absolutely. And elevating others is the way to elevate ourselves. Just like those who, you know, Dennis Waitley, who's one of my mentors and a great sales coach, you know, now in his 80s, he said, I plant seeds for trees that I'll never sit under.
Oh, I love that.
Right. And so when I saw Brandon Cook here, right, that's beautiful. And when you talk about what had awakened you to the value system that you have today, I think about what Lee Steinberg taught me, which was in that situation where he always could imagine why the richest people were the most scarce, how they could sue and fight over what they had. So when I first came on, we were trying to buy the Rams early on, and he was in a detox. He was a admitted alcoholic. He's recovered, obviously doing very well with Mahomes and Tua and everyone, which is wonderful. But at that time, my very first negotiation, he left me. I was stuck by myself, and I said, what am I supposed to do? He said, it's real simple, Dave. He said, it was a $900 million deal with Franklin Financial. He said, never negotiate to the last penny, always be fair, and don't do business with dicks.
Okay.
And so when I'm listening to you, I'm thinking, right? These guys are all negotiating to the last penny. None of them are fair, and they're all assholes.
And they were assholes. Yeah. You are exactly
And you're just like,
right.
you know what? And that was your solution. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to have a we mentality. There's enough of everything for everyone.
Absolutely.
And that's like an interview question for me when I'm doing business is one way or another, I kind of circle around to figure out if you're abundant.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of ask the questions to determine, hey, if this should happen, how would you handle it? What would you do with this?
That's a great question to
And when
ask.
they get there, you realize, here's an abundant person. And then I ask for kindness, because kindness cannot be taught. And my mom, always said, I'd rather you be kind than right. Because I was one of those people with the big ego, and you've met doctors that need to be right.
Oh,
and it gets very dangerous.
They taught us in school, you may never be wrong. You may not always be wrong, but you're never, those kind of
kindness.
Phrases. Yeah.
Like these little things. And one of the reasons I love Louisiana is there is an energy, a frequency, and a wisdom of Louisiana that you can't explain. It's a different country than the rest of our country.
I absolutely agree with you.
But there's a kindness that I can't explain.
They really do. There's a real open-hearted mentality in those people. They still, deep down, they leave their doors open and invite you in for something cold to drink. I mean, they really do. And I think that's probably influenced me as well. I mean, the warmth of that community has really helped me move into hospitality. And, those people cheer you on instead of resent you, like in some of the northern eastern and the tough, climate. Those people root you on, and it's been really great for me.
Which is great in sports too, which is why, through those sports teams now with the Pelicans and the Saints, to see how they unite a community and how far beyond what most cities will do to get behind their iconic teams, to have that conscious collective belief. last question. You've
Yes, sir.
really been successful in everything that you've done. And, we've all had setbacks, but you turn those into setups and you continually to give back. What is next for you? So a lot of people would say, gosh, Doc, why don't you just go down to the Bahamas and relax? But you're pushing it harder like I do than ever.
Well, I mean, I think we both have a lot of energy, and these things really give us a lot of. I'm trying to do. I really like the startups, and I really like some of these new ideas. And like we're involved with this company that's doing needleless injections, PharmaJet, and the World Health Organization is picked it up, and they're trying to eradicate polio with needleless injections. I mean, we work with a business called DiaThrive, which is a diabetic company that's helping people who can't get diabetic equipment. So, I mean, I'm trying to find those things that help a lot more people that you can scale. I really enjoy those kind of things. I mean, we're still doing our hospitality and our development, but those things have really been exciting for me because that little marketplace that everyone's got some great ideas, and then bringing those to fruition has been really fun for me. And
will you ever retire?
I hope not. I hope to keep smiling and still meeting great guys like you.
Oh my gosh! Well, I can't wait to hang out with you. You are more than just an incredible guest. You are now a true friend. We are soulmates. Must have been past lives down in the bayou. We used to go fishing together or something. Because the minute I saw you, there was just this instant light and connection. You are full of an incredible light that I know that you share with others, and I just want to give you my deepest gratitude, especially for coming here, Dr. Eric George, incredible, famous doctor and entrepreneur, with Dave Meltzer on Entrepreneurs, the Playbook.